welcome to Would Evie Drive It, a tiny little show on our channel where we let Evie judge the cars.
Would I drive a Mazda CX-5?
Hell if I know. But first, information explosion. Easiest job on the internet.
Hey, wait, that's normally my job.
I know.
Let's begin with emotion factor. This guy has the sensibilities of a squirrel.
I was gonna say, dude, bro. That's the kind of risk-taking you can take in a tiny mountain community where not very many people live. As we meander through these clearly dangerous streets, are you feeling any emotion driving the CX-5?
I really liked driving this. It's so nice on curvy mountain roads. I felt like it had enough power, and I really liked the steering. Sometimes when I drive stuff, I feel like it has too much play on center. This is really responsive. Like, as soon as I turn, it gives me turn.
Because you got those tiny little sweetie arms, is it too much effort to turn, or is it okay?
Well, those tiny little sweetie arms have been doing a lot of push-ups, so it's okay.
I noticed that the steering efforts are a little bit heavy, especially compared to other compact SUVs, but if you feel good about it, that heaviness can read as sporty. We'll take a right.
I guess that's my preferred style.
Take a zippy right with your preferred style. You know,
Whoa!
you realize that's left.
Sorry, I thought you pointed this way. I'm not listening to the words you say, sweetie.
You know, after 21 years of marriage, that is to be expected. In terms of ride comfort, though, does it feel overly harsh, or do you feel good about it?
I feel good about it. My butt isn't as finely attuned as yours is, so it was
We'll work on that. Oh, hello, iguana.
Yeah, I felt weirdly confident driving this around. I found myself driving more quickly around corners than I normally would.
Confident. That is weird.
I know.
It's true. I noticed when we were doing car-to-car footage, you came up awfully quickly on the camera car, and I thought, yeah, Sweetie's getting after it. How very cool. Any issues with visibility?
I do find this a little intrusive, the A-pillar.
It's kind of thick, and it extends because of that, steeply raked windshield. It kind of stays in your view for a long time. If it was just a short vertical pillar, it wouldn't be as bad. We'll take a right.
Okay. You mean that way?
You mean... Okay, do the, let's see, right.
I like that Mazdas have a cohesive design language. I like the style. I feel like, though, they've been doing the same thing for kind of a long time, so it's hard to get excited about it. The major change I noticed is that the emblem and grille keep getting larger in proportion to the rest of the vehicle, and I think they've pushed that as far as they can.
You know what? I'm not going to throw any stones for having a big metallic M. We literally own a huge metal M for the Muzio family, so you do you, Mazda. I would like to point out that this is the turbocharged engine, and there's actually quite a lot of power. By the way, we're going to take a left here. Yeah, Mazda! We're going to take a right here. There's a nice little straightaway. Just punch it whenever you feel comfortable, and tell me if you feel the G's. I couldn't think of a less sexy way of saying that. I'm sorry, I just exude sexuality.
Sweetie.
Yeah.
Are you ready for the G's?
I'm strapped in and ready to rock. How's that feel?
That feels good.
Yeah.
It smoothly applies the power too. Like, sometimes when you get into a car, it like throws your head back. I felt like I had the power I needed, but it was applied in a nice fashion.
Yeah, so that turbo has to spool up a little bit, so it doesn't kick in immediately.
Yeah.
But for you, that read as like a progressive increase of power, kind of a swelling sensation.
Yeah.
But that there's enough immediately that it doesn't feel like you're left hanging. Anything on the interior jump out to you? Mazda's done a pretty good job of working on tactile feel.
Yes, that is totally something I noticed. Like the knurled knobs.
And when you use them, there's kind of a nice little, again, clicky quality. So there are little bits and pieces in here that hint at Mazda's premium aspirations. That's their goal for the brand. And you definitely get that vibe in the interior. Overall, you feeling an emotion?
Yes, I think this is an emotional vehicle.
Sure, it can make you feel emotions, but is it
family friendly?
from the family?
Whoa, why are you saying that? That was so weird.
It probably was because you were approaching the back of that car, and maybe you thought you were going to hit it.
But that car was on the side of the road. I was nowhere near that car.
You know, we're going to jump ahead just a moment here. Have you tried the active safety features?
This is the first time they've activated since I've been driving it, and that was really intrusive and not safer than nothing at all.
That is an excellent point. So this has a full suite: lane keeping assist, automatic emergency braking. But on windy roads like this, where you might have a car parked in a corner, the car can't know which way the road's going to go. So in some circumstances, some outside circumstances, you can have those things where it's like, I'm more scared of the beeping that's happening than if you just done nothing.
Totally. It was telling me to brake, and if I had listened, that would have not been good.
Active safety, great for inattentive people, but occasionally bad. The notion of a self-driving car is years and years away. Sorry, Elon. Okay, family friendliness. Let's talk about interior space.
It is definitely a little bit cramped in the back. If I'm sitting behind myself, there's plenty of room. That would be a tough place for an average sized human in the back seat.
But for our family of three, like
Yeah.
if you put like a 6-year-old in the back, it's workable.
It's totally fine. Yeah, it's perfect for our family. Some of you pointed out that as our girl ages, she's going to want to have friends along, and getting older children, more than one in the back seat, could be a challenge. So maybe upgrading to a larger vehicle would make sense.
Yeah, what about just getting our daughter in and out?
It was great. Like, it was loaded enough to the ground for her. The car seat was easy to install because the latch points were exposed.
But there's no latch flaps.
I know.
Oh, and we were just using the phrase latch flap so frequently. Well, we crammed it in here even though it was by noting that there weren't any.
Yeah, thank you.
Latch flap. Like with the passenger space, cargo space is on the it's not the small side, but it's not the biggest in the compact category. So there's 30.9 cubic feet behind the second row. What do you think? Is it a workable amount?
Absolutely. And I liked that the middle seat has a release in the back so that you can put long objects through the back seat and still have people sitting in each side.
If you're sitting in the back seat, there's a 2-position recline, though accessing it, using it, I have to, move my arm in a very alien way.
Maybe you're just too muscular.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's like I don't want to work out because I don't want to get too buff. Even though I'm sitting over here, I'm going to quick lodge a complaint. The steering wheel doesn't come back quite far enough for a comfortable leg position for me. Oh, and then on safety, 5-star overall, 6 airbags total, but overall a very safe package.
Well, that is what I'm looking for.
A safe package? I feel like we're dancing around a joke that we don't need to make.
Yeah, we don't.
Yay! Moving on.
Is it mountain friendly?
So this is the all-wheel drive rendition of the CX-5.
If you don't care to go off-road, this seems very mountain friendly.
The all-wheel drive will do just fine. Ground clearance would be a bit of a challenge if you were to go try and do some off-roading. You can take it on some dirt trails or something like that. Though I'm going to mention that our friend Sarah Fairfield and her husband Dave Coleman, Dave works at Mazda, and they did some serious off-roading in a Mazda CX-5. It was badass, but for our needs, that might be a little bit too much risk. So what do you think? Mountain friendly?
Mountain friendly.
I love the mountains. Yes, it's mountain friendly, but maybe not quite enough for our needs because we're just rugged mountain individuals now.
It's more that I'm such a timid off-roader.
Yeah, you need like a lot of excess capacity.
I do.
And now, time for my favorite segment.
Sweetie potpourri.
Oh, this is going to be good. Sweetie, tell me about the infotainment system.
Oh my gosh, the infotainment system is so banding. It's not a touch screen.
I think we should freeze frame on your first reaction as soon as I mention infotainment. Yeah, so the way Mazda has done it previously is that it's a touchscreen, but only when you're standing still, and then when you're driving, you have to use this knob.
Oh, that's even worse.
That is even worse because then it's just taunting you. So this screen is standard, which is awesome, but you can't touch it. Don't even try to touch it. You can't touch it. All the controls happen through this little wheel down here that you spin and push and click. How do you like that?
I have to be parked to do anything. That's kind of a deal breaker for me for this vehicle.
So right now you're probably thinking like, well, you shouldn't be looking at a touchscreen anyways. This is a safer solution. No, because you have to
Totally.
identify the thing you want to touch, and then you have to watch a cursor go over to select the thing. You spend more time looking at the screen when you use the wheel than if you just used a touch screen. Man, I'm so angry about this.
I guess if you don't like fingerprints on your screen and that's super important to you, this would be a better solution. But I can't think of any other reason why it's better than a touch screen.
Maybe it would be easier if you just had to think of what you wanted for the screen, and then it would click itself.
Oh my gosh.
Great solution.
That is a great solution, sweetie pie. Mazda, skip all this, and then if you could just like get into my brain and make it select based on what oh, actually, you know what? Never mind. That's an awful idea. So we're driving the turbocharged engine, which comes on the higher trims, but there's a base engine as well, which is also a 2.5 liter, lacks a turbocharger. Still, for your purposes, I think it would be plenty powerful. The thing I'll note about this engine is that if you want all of the power, you have to run 93 octane, which I don't know if you can find everywhere, but just know that you're going to have to pay for a premium. And if you want that maximum power, which I know my sweetie does, then yeah, 93
You
octane.
just said I don't need maximum.
I'm a man of contradictions. Mazda does not offer a hybrid version of the CX-5.
Oh, wow.
But you can get a lot of other competitors in hybrid form. So you can get a RAV4 hybrid. They can get the RAV4 Prime, which is a plug-in hybrid. That's cool. Honda now has a hybrid CR-V. So you've got plenty of hybrid options. In fact, you know, as long as we're talking about the competitors, I mean, RAV4, CR-V.
Subaru Forester?
Subaru Forester would be another one. And the one that I'm kind of excited to drive, but haven't driven it yet, the new Hyundai Tucson. That thing looks crazy. And they offer a hybrid. You know, with a roughly $25,000 starting price, what do you think in terms of value?
Well, I think the starting price is a good value. I would be really curious to get into the base model because I can't imagine spending almost 40 grand for this.
Yeah, the one I would probably go with would be the touring trim. That's one level up from the base, and it's like about 27 grand-ish. And what that gives you: smart key access, dual zone climate control, and rear seat vents, which is crazy that they do not give that to you standard, because if you love the human that sits in back, you should have little vents back there.
Aww.
Well, we've talked a lot about the CX-5, but the big question, would Evie drive it? Sweetie, yes, no, maybe so. Would you drive a Mazda CX-5?
No, and it's purely because of the infotainment system.
Whoa!
I really enjoyed every other aspect of driving this car. I liked the way it handled. I felt great driving it around. I cannot handle not having a touchscreen.
What do you think? Is Evie crazy for treating that as a game killer for her CX-5? Would you drive a CX-5 or no? Tell us in the comments. If you are curious what I'm driving or flying between YouTube videos, feel free to give me a follow over on Instagram. If you're curious what our family is up to, give Evie a follow. Great review, everybody. I think the only thing that remains is the awkward goodbye.
Bye, I love you.